This call is now being recorded.
Okay, good afternoon all once again. So today we'll start with the new chapter, that is chapter number 3 from the section number 1, principal stresses and the strains. So this is the chapter from the section number 1, chapter number 3, principal stresses and the principal strains. So purposefully we have taken this particular chapter at the end of this particular syllabus, because whenever we have to study this particular chapter, initially we have to understand all the basic concepts related to the all the chapters, because if you go through all the previous syllabus, what are the number of chapters we have covered in that, the chapter number 1, which is basically called as a simple stresses and the strain, in which we have calculated the different types of stresses. Maybe we have calculated tensile stresses, compressive stresses. Then second chapter we have studied, which is called as a strain energy and the impact load. Again, in that we have calculated the different types of the stresses when your body or the member subjected to the gradually applied load, suddenly applied load, and when it is subjected to the impact load. Then in torsion chapter we have calculated the shear stress induced in the rotating shaft. If the shaft is going to start the rotating, due to the increasing RPM, it is subjected to the twisting moment, and due to that particular twisting, the shear stress is induced. Then the two more chapter we have covered, which is related to the bending stress calculation and the shear stress calculation. So bending stresses means when the beam is subjected to the bending moment, the bending stresses are developed. When beam is subjected to the shear force, at that time the beam is subjected to the shear stresses. So according to the types of load, we have calculated the different types of the stresses. But in order to understand all the concept related to this particular chapter number 3, that is principal stresses and the principal strains, initially we have to understand all the types of forces and all the types of stresses. Therefore, in last all the previous chapters, we have calculated the number of stresses. Maybe we have calculated tensile stress, compressive stress, shear stress, bending stress, then another volumetric stresses. Like that, number of stresses we have calculated in the previous chapters. Now in this particular chapter, initially we will discuss about what is meant by the principal stresses and what is meant by the principal strains. So that we are going to discuss in this particular chapter. Again, we are having some simple definitions, because if we have to understand all the basic concept related to these chapters, first of all, it is required to understand some definitions. So total 8 definitions are there. That 8 definitions are very important to solve the numericals based on this particular chapter number 3. Then after that particular definitions, we are having 3 standard cases. That is, body subjected to the single stress, body subjected to the stress in the 2 directions, that is x and y, and body subjected to the stress in x direction, y direction, and one more, shear stress. So in this particular chapter, we have to solve the numericals based on the analytical method and the graphical method also. So there are 2 types of variety of the problems are there. One is analytical and another is a graphical method is there. Okay, so that problems we are going to solve in this particular principal stresses. Please mute from your side. Roll number 24. Okay, so the variety of the problems we are going to solve in this particular chapter related to the analytical method and by using the graphical method. Okay, so this is the overall syllabus of this particular chapter. So if you go through this particular content, in that we are going to discuss about the normal and the shear stresses. So in the chapter number 1, and in case of a torsion chapter, we have discussed which stress is called as a normal stress and which stress is called as a shear stress. That we are going to discuss. Their definition also we are going to discuss. Oblique plane. Oblique means this is called as an incline. If any inclined line is there, or if any inclined structure is there, that structure is called as an oblique plane, or it is also called as an inclined plane. So all the important definitions we are going to discuss related to the principal planes, then principal stresses, then what is meant by the maximum shear stress, 2D cases only. So there are 2 types of the bodies are there. 2-dimensional bodies are there and the 3-dimensional bodies are there. But in this particular chapter, we have to focus only on the 2D cases only. Then these are the different parameters which we have to calculate. That is positions of the principal planes, then plane of maximum shear for the various case of the loading. So this represents the unknown parameters, whatever we have to calculate. That is principal stresses. This is your unknown parameter. Maximum shear stress, again this is your unknown parameter. Then position of principal planes, this is again unknown parameter. Plane of maximum shear, this is the unknown parameters which we have to calculate during the analytical method and the graphical method. And in case of a graphical method, we are going to discuss one method which is called as a Mohr circle method. So maybe at your diploma also you have studied this particular method, Mohr circle. So the name itself suggests that in this particular method we are going to draw one circle by using the given parameters. Maybe different types of the stresses are given to you, and by using that particular given stresses we are drawing or we are representing one circle, and by using that particular circle we are finding the unknown parameters. Therefore this particular method is called as a graphical method, or it is also called as a Mohr's circle method. So this is the overall content or overall syllabus of this particular chapter, that is principal stresses and the strains. Okay, now before starting this particular chapter, initially we will start with the two important words. Let us see. Principal, which is there in our syllabus, PRINCIPAL, and another definition is there, or another word is there, PLE. If you think about the last two words, in the first one at the end AL is there, and in the second here ELE is there. Principal, the pronunciation of both the words are same, principal and the principal. In our chapter, which word is there? First word, principal, PRINCIPAL. Before that, first of all, we will discuss about the second word, principal, PRINCIPLE. The second word means this is called as a natural laws or rules. Natural laws or the rules. So there are different types of the laws are there. For example, Hooke's law is there, then inertia law is there. So whatever the different types of the standard rules are there, whatever the standard rules are there, standard principles are there, standard laws are there, that all the laws are comes under the category of second word, which is called as a principle, PRINCIPLE. So there are different types of the laws are there. Hooke's law is there, then inertia laws are there, so many principles are there, standard principles are there, some standard assumptions are there, that all the important definitions, all the important laws will becomes under the category of second word, which is called as a PRINCIPLE. At the end ELE is there. But what about the first one, which is there in our syllabus? Now we are discussing about this particular chapter, principle. So if you think about this particular principle, PAL means it represents the important structure, or it represents the key element. Key element. If you think about any organization, if you think about any institute, so for any type of institute there is one key element is there, which is called as a principle. If you think about our college, one principle is there. Under that particular principle, so many activities are handled. So principle, the first meaning of the first word is called as a key element. The principle, it plays very, very important role. If you think about any institute, for example, our institute, in our institute, the principle, it plays very, very important roles. So whatever the number of activities we are performing, whatever the number of activities we are doing in our activity, it is carried out under the guidance of first word, which is called as a principle. So in this particular chapter, in the chapter number 3, we have to focus only on the first word, that is principle. At the end, PAL is there. The second word is not important as far as our chapter number 3. Then what is meant by the principle, which is called as a key element? Then what is meant by the principal stresses and the principal strains? So now we have discussed there are so many stresses which are developed in the body. Maybe sometimes body is subjected to the only tensile stress. Sometimes body is subjected to only compressive stress. Sometimes body is subjected to only shear. Sometimes body is subjected to the only bending stress. Sometimes body is subjected to the only shear stresses. So like that, single stresses are developed because body is subjected to the single force only. If body is subjected to the tensile, then only tensile stress will be developed. There is no any compressive, there is no any shear, there is no any bending, there is no any shear stress. Means according to the type of force applied on that particular body, accordingly the required stress will be developed. That we have discussed in previous all the chapters. Chapter number 1, tensile compressive is there. Chapter number 2, again tensile compressive stress is there, but it is subjected to the gradually applied load, suddenly applied load, impact load. Then torsion, which is related to the shear only. Then bending stresses we have calculated, shear stresses in the beam also we have calculated. So like that, that member or that particular body is subjected to the single force only, due to which that stress is developed in that particular body. But sometimes what happen, the number of stresses may be tensile, second compressive, then volumetric, then shear. These are the types of stresses. Then bending, then shear. Shear stresses, this is in the beam and this is in the shaft. So that's why shear I have considered 2 times. So these are the number of stresses which are developed in the body. When tensile will be developed, if body is subjected to the tensile force. When compressive stress will be developed, if body is subjected to the compressive force. When volumetric stress will be developed, if body is subjected to the forces in X, Y and the Z direction. When shear stress will be developed in the shaft, if the shaft is under the torsion. When bending stress is developed in the beam, if the beam is subjected to the bending moment. When the shear stress is developed in the beam, when the beam is subjected to the shear force. Like that, number of stresses are developed according to the type of force applied on that particular body. But sometimes what happens, these are the number of stresses which are simultaneously applied on any type of body. For example, this is one structure is there, and on this particular body, simultaneously the number of forces are applied. At this side there is a sigma t is there, here again this is sigma t is there, at top side this is sigma c is there, at the bottom side this is sigma c is there, then it is also subjected to the shear stress which is indicated by the tau. So like that, if the number of stresses are applied on this particular body, so at that time number of stresses are applied on this particular body, at that time in this particular body there are some complicated shapes are there. For example, this is one rectangle is there, and in that particular rectangle this is one inclined portion. So this inclined line represents the oblique plane. This inclined line is called as a oblique plane, or it is also called as a inclined plane, because it is having some amount of inclination. How much? Theta amount of inclination is there. So if such types of the inclined shapes or inclined portions are present in that particular body, or if any body is having irregular shape, so this is the body which is having the perfect rectangle is there. The second body, it is having the irregular shape. Again, some another body is there which is having like this irregular shape. This is the body number 3. So if such type of the irregular shapes are available, or irregular shapes of the bodies are there, in that case, if I have to calculate the stresses induced in such types of the bodies, at that time your tensile stress, compressive stress, shear stress, then volumetric stress, these stresses are plays very important role. This stresses plays very important role. Therefore, this tensile stress and compressive stress are called as a principal stresses. Means to calculate the stresses induced on the inclined plane, to calculate the stresses induced in the irregular shapes of the body, during that particular calculation, your tensile stresses and the compressive stresses are plays very important role. Therefore, this tensile, which is called as a sigma t, and sigma c is called as a compressive stresses. These two stresses are called as a principal stresses. If this sigma t and sigma c, it is not known, if it is not given, then it is very difficult to calculate the stress induced on this particular inclined plane and the stress induced in this irregular shape of the bodies. If the regular shapes are available, simply if I have to calculate sigma t is equal to pt upon area, sigma c is equal to pc upon area. Pt means force applied, that is tensile force divided by cross sectional area. Sigma c, compressive force upon cross sectional area. Like that, simple formulas are available. If your shape of the body is simple, maybe perfectly straight, it may be vertical, it may be horizontal. But if there is some inclined shapes are there, maybe your body is available in the form of this triangle. In that case, how to calculate the stress induced on this particular inclined plane? At that time, the stress induced, this is sigma t and this is the sigma c. This sigma t and sigma c plays very important role in order to calculate the stresses induced on this particular inclined plane. Therefore, the sigma t and sigma c are called as a principal stresses.
Sir,
Means,
voice is breaking.
yes, my voice is breaking. Others, please check. No? Yes, Revnath, please check you with your network. You can leave the meeting and once again you can rejoin. Okay, so means here the value of sigma t and sigma c, it plays very important role. That's why I have explained the meaning of principle. First word, principle means key element, महत्वाचा भाग. So during the calculation of stresses on inclined plane, during the calculation of stresses in irregular shape of the body, at that time your sigma t and sigma t, it plays very important role. Therefore, the sigma t and sigma c are called as a principal stresses. So therefore, the meaning is given or the title is given to this particular chapter as the principal stresses and the principal strain. Because if you think about the different types of the structure in the machine element, there are so many machines are there. Maybe if you take the example of drilling machine is there, lathe machine is there, shaping machine is there, milling machine is there, CNC machine is there, VMC machine is there. Like that, so many machineries are available. So all the types of machineries are having the different types of the shapes. Some machines are having the perfect rectangle shape. Some machines are having some inclined shape. Some machines are having some circular, irregular shapes. So in such cases, if I have to calculate the stresses on that inclined plane, stresses on the irregular shapes, at that time, your sigma t, sigma c, volumetric stresses, bending stresses, these stresses are plays very important role. Therefore, that stresses are called as a principal stresses. This is the meaning of this particular principal stress and the strain. Therefore, you have to remind only simple definition. If I have to calculate the stress induced on the inclined plane, and if I have to calculate the stress induced in the irregular shape of the body, at that time the value of tensile stress and compressive stress, it plays very important role. Therefore, that sigma t and sigma c are called as a principal stresses. If principal stresses are not given, if it is not known, it is not possible to calculate the stress induced on the inclined surface or the stress induced in the irregular shape of the body. Therefore, how your sigma t, sigma c are plays very important role during this particular calculation, that we are going to discuss in this particular chapter. In addition to that, we are going to solve the numericals by using the analytical method and by using the graphical methods. So once we will start with that particular basic 8 definition, then you can easily understood that how your principal stresses, that is sigma t or sigma c, sometimes only sigma t is there, sometimes only sigma c is there, but both the sigma t and sigma c means tensile and compressive stresses plays important role during the another stress calculation. Therefore, that stresses are called as a principal stresses. Whenever we will start with that particular standard cases while solving the numericals, then you can easily understood that how the sigma t and sigma c are called as a principal stresses. So that's why in order to calculate that particular stresses on inclined planes, to calculate the stresses in the irregular shape of the bodies, we have to study this particular chapter. We have to study this particular chapter to calculate the stresses on them. So this is the introduction related to the principal stresses and the principal strain. Now we'll discuss about all the important definitions. So these are the total 8 definitions which we have to understood. These are the total 8 definitions which we have to understood. So first definition is called as a principal plane. Second is called as a principal stresses. Third, major principal stresses. Fourth, minor principal stresses. Fifth, major principal plane. Sixth, minor principal plane. Seventh, resultant stress. And eighth one is called as a angle of obliquity. So whenever we have to solve the numericals based on this particular chapter, initially it is necessary to understand all these particular 8 definitions, because through this particular 8 definitions only we have to solve the numericals. Through this particular 8 definitions only, we have to solve the numericals based on the principal stresses calculations. So now what happened? There are so many shapes. For example, this is one rectangle is there. Okay. Another surface, this is one triangle is there. In this particular rectangular surface, this is one inclined portion. Okay. Suppose this is the sigma x, which is applied in the horizontal direction. Then this is sigma y, which is applied in the vertical direction. Angle of inclination, this is the theta. Similarly, another rectangular portion is there. The sigma x is applied in the horizontal direction. Sigma y is applied in the vertical direction. Again, this angle of inclination. So this inclined surface, this is called as a inclined plane or oblique plane. Similarly, in the first figure also, this is inclined plane or oblique plane. So now here, if I have to calculate, for example, this is A, B, C, and D. Okay. If I have to calculate sigma x, how I have to calculate sigma x is equal to Px upon Ax. Simple formula is there. Stress is equal to force upon area. So in this particular direction, some amount of P will be given. For example, 50 kilonewton will be given. Their cross-sectional area, this is the vertical line. This cross-sectional area will be given as the Ax. I can calculate the sigma x value. Okay. Similarly, at the left side, again, if I have to calculate sigma x, again I am having the formula Px upon Ax. Similarly, if I have to calculate sigma y is equal to Py upon Ay. Simple formulas are there. That is, stress is equal to force upon area. But if I have to calculate the stress induced on this particular inclined surface, that is, if I have to calculate sigma n and if I have to calculate sigma t. Sigma n means normal stress which is perpendicular to this inclined plane. बघा हा sigma n क्या inclined surface ला कसा आहे? Sigma n is perpendicular to this inclined surface and has sigma t is parallel to this particular inclined surface. What is my requirement? I have to calculate normal stress induced in the inclined plane and tangential stress, that is sigma t, induced on the inclined plane. But here it is not possible to take the formula sigma n is equal to force upon area. Sigma t is equal to force upon area. This formula will not be applicable here because this is the inclined surface. If this line is perfectly straight, it may be horizontal, it may be vertical. Then and then I can use the formula stress is equal to force upon area. But here your surface is inclined. That angle of inclination is also given theta. So at that time, during this sigma n calculation, during this sigma t calculation, it is not possible to use the formula sigma is equal to P upon A. At that time, this sigma x and sigma y plays very important role. Therefore, this sigma x and sigma y are called as a principal stresses. Means sigma n formula you will get in the form of sigma x and the sigma y. Similarly, sigma t formula you will get in the form of sigma x and the sigma y. Means I can easily say that during the sigma n calculation and sigma t calculation, the value of sigma x and sigma y plays very important role. Therefore, sigma x and sigma y are called as a principal stresses. So, and which stresses I have to calculate? I have to calculate sigma n and sigma t. Where it is developed? It is developed on this particular inclined plane. ह्या inclined plane वर पण काही स्ट्रेसेस डेव्हलप होतात. कशामुळं? तर ह्या बॉडीवर सिग्मा एक्स अप्लाय केलेला आहे, सिग्मा वाय अप्लाय केलेला आहे. ह्या सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय मुळे ह्या इन्क्लाइन्ड सरफेसवर पण एक प्रकारचा स्ट्रेस काय होतो? डेव्हलप होतो. पण तो स्ट्रेस काढताना स्ट्रेस इज इक्वल टू फोर्स अपॉन एरिया हा फॉर्म्युला आपण यूज करू शकत नाही. का? तर तो इन्क्लाइन्ड सरफेस आहे. जर तुम्ही सिग्मा एक्स जर बघितला तर सिग्मा एक्स ह्या व्हर्टिकल प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे, सिग्मा वाय ह्या हॉरिझॉन्टल प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे. त्यामुळे आपण डायरेक्ट फॉर्म्युला यूज करू शकतो, कुठला? सिग्मा इज इक्वल टू फोर्स अपॉन एरिया. पण हा इन्क्लाइंड सरफेस आहे, त्यामुळे त्या इन्क्लाइंड सरफेसला आपण फोर्स अपॉन एरिया हा फॉर्म्युला वापरू शकत नाही. तर हा सिग्मा एन फाइंड आउट करण्यासाठी आणि सिग्मा टी फाइंड आउट करण्यासाठी आपल्याला दोन नवीन फॉर्म्युले मिळतील. ते कशाच्या फॉर्म मध्ये असणार आहेत? तर सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वायच्या फॉर्म मध्ये असणार आहेत. मग ते फॉर्म्युले यूज करून आपल्याला ह्या इन्क्लाइंड सरफेसवरचा नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस, म्हणजे इन्क्लाइंड सरफेसला हा नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस कसा आहे? परपेंडिक्युलर आहे. आणि हा टेंजेन्शियल स्ट्रेस सिग्मा टी हा ह्या इन्क्लाइंड सरफेसला कसा आहे? पॅरलल आहे. बघा, सिग्मा एन इज परपेंडिक्युलर टू इन्क्लाइंड सरफेस अँड सिग्मा टी इज पॅरलल टू द इन्क्लाइंड सरफेस. आणि हे दोन स्ट्रेसेस आपल्याला कशावरून काढायचे? तर ह्या सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वायच्या व्हॅल्यूवरून काढायचे. मग हा सिग्मा एन आणि सिग्मा टी काढताना तुमचा सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय हा महत्वाचा रोल प्ले करतोय. जर सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय दिलाच नसेल तर तुम्ही हा सिग्मा एन आणि सिग्मा टी काढू शकत नाही. त्यामुळं हे दोन सिग्मा एन आणि सिग्मा टी काढण्यासाठी व्हॅल्यू ऑफ सिग्मा एक्स अँड व्हॅल्यू ऑफ सिग्मा वाय प्लेज व्हेरी व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट रोल. देअरफॉर दिस सिग्मा एक्स अँड सिग्मा वाय आर कॉल्ड एज ए प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेसेस. हे काढायचे कसे? तर त्याच्या अगोदर आपल्याला ह्या 8 डेफिनेशन काय करायचे? डिफाईन करायचे आणि त्याचा मिनिंग काय करायचं आपल्याला अंडरस्टँड करून द्यायचा आहे. इफ यू अंडरस्टँड ऑल दिस पर्टिक्युलर डेफिनेशन्स देन यू कॅन सॉल्व एनी टाइप ऑफ न्यूमेरिकल बेस्ड ऑन दिस पर्टिक्युलर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस calculation. Definitions are very simple, so I will explain all those particular definitions by using the figure. So in order to explain that particular definition here, I will consider one rectangle. So the figure is in front of you. I will consider one rectangle. So that rectangle I will give the name. This is point A, B, C and D. Okay, so this is the center line, horizontal center line. Okay, then vertical center line I will draw. Okay, this is the vertical center line. I will draw one inclined portion also. This is an inclined portion. Their angle is represented as a theta. Now first of all we will discuss, or here this is sigma x, the stress developed in the horizontal direction, sigma x, which is called as a normal stress, because normal stress is always perpendicular to the cross sectional area. You can see sigma x, left side sigma x is perpendicular to AB, right side sigma x is perpendicular to the line CD. Therefore normal stresses are always perpendicular to the cross sectional area. Similarly at the top side, this is sigma y, again this is normal stress. Similarly at the bottom side, again this is sigma y, which is called as a normal stress. Okay, so one rectangle is there, that is A, B, C, D. It is subjected to the normal stresses. The stresses applied in the horizontal direction is called as a sigma x, which is represented at the left side and the right side. The stresses developed in the vertical direction, which is called as a sigma y, which is represented by the vertical direction as a sigma y. Sigma y is also normal stress because one sigma y is perpendicular to the line AD. You can see in the figure the horizontal line is there, AD. To this particular AD, the sigma y is perpendicular at the top side. At the bottom side, the sigma y is perpendicular to BC. Means again the normal stresses are perpendicular to the cross sectional area. Now we'll discuss about the first definition, principal plane. What is meant by the principal plane? I will explain the definition. The plane which carries only normal stresses. The plane which carries only normal stresses, no shear stress. See, no shear stress. The plane which carries only normal stresses, no shear stress, that planes are called as a principal plane. बघा, ज्या प्लेनवर नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसेस ऍक्ट झालेले आहेत पण शियर स्ट्रेस नाही, त्या प्लेनला आपण काय म्हणतो तर प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन. देन टेल मी इन दिस पर्टिक्युलर फिगर which are the principal plane. The plane which carries only normal stress, no shear stress, that plane is called as a principal plane. Now please tell me from this particular figure which are the principal planes.
inclined line.
Inclined line वर कुठे सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय ऍक्ट झालेला आहे? Yes, A, B, C, D. This is correct. Let us see. This is one rectangle is there, and that rectangle are having the four planes. AB, plane number 1, BC, plane number 2, CD, plane number 3, and AD, plane number 4. Total 4 planes are there. Out of the 4 planes, 2 are vertical, which are AB and CD, which are present at the right side and the left side. Out of that 4, 2 planes are horizontal, AD and BC, which are present at the top side and the bottom side. That means in this particular rectangular section, it consists of a total 4 planes, and on that particular 4 planes, the normal stresses are applied. Which are normal stresses? You can see sigma x is called as a normal stress, which is applied on plane AB and CD in the figure. Sigma y, it is also called as a normal stress, which is applied on horizontal plane AD and BC. Therefore, if the plane which carries only normal stress, no shear stress, बघा या AB वर, BC वर, CD वर and AD वर चारही प्लेन वर सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वायच ऍक्ट झालेला आहे. कुठल्याच प्लेनवर शियर स्ट्रेस ऍक्ट झालेला नाही. Therefore, all the 4 planes are called as a principal plane. The plane which carries only normal stress. टोटल किती नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसेस आहेत? 2. सिग्मा एक्स कुठल्या ह्याच्यावर ऍक्ट झालाय तर व्हर्टिकल प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे. सिग्मा वाय कुठल्या प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे तर हॉरिझॉन्टल प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे. त्यामुळं AB, BC, CD and AD, all the 4 planes are called as a principal plane. In Marathi, simple definition is there. ज्या प्लेनवर फक्त नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसेस ऍक्ट झालेले आहेत त्याच प्लेनला आपण काय म्हणतो? प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन म्हणतो. जर एखाद्या प्लेनवर नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस पण आहे आणि शियर स्ट्रेस पण आहे तर त्या प्लेनला आपण प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन म्हणू शकत नाही. इफ यू थिंक अबाउट दिस पर्टिक्युलर फिगर, ह्या फिगरचा जर तुम्ही विचार केला तर ह्याच्यामध्ये टोटल किती प्लेन आहेत? 4. प्रत्येक 4 प्लेनवर एक नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस ऍक्ट झालेला आहे. म्हणजे सिग्मा एक्स हे व्हर्टिकल प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे, सिग्मा वाय हा हॉरिझॉन्टल प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे. त्यामुळं चारही प्लेनवर फक्त नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसेस आहेत, कुठल्याच प्रकारचा शियर स्ट्रेस नाही. दॅट्स वाय all the 4 planes are called as a principal plane. So this is the first definition, which is called as a principal plane. What is that definition? The plane which carries only normal stresses, no shear stress, that plane is called as a principal plane. Therefore here I can write AB is equal to BC is equal to CD is equal to AD is equal to principal plane. First definition we have defined. Then second definition, principal stresses. Principal stresses. What is meant by the principal stresses? What is meant by the principal stresses? Can anybody? What is meant by the principal stresses? कुठल्या स्ट्रेसेसला आपण प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेसेस म्हणायचं आता सांगा मला. Which stresses are called as a principal stresses? Yes, which stresses are called as a principal stresses? The normal stress acting on the principal plane is called as a principal stresses. I will give the hint. The normal stress acting on principal plane. जे काय नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसेस आहेत, कुठले नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसेस आहेत सांगा मला फिगर मध्ये. Which are the normal stresses? Yes, which are the normal stresses in the figure?
Sigma X and Sigma Y.
Definition: the normal stress acting on principal plane. The normal stresses acting on principal plane, that stresses are called as a principal stresses. Then tell me which are the principal stresses?
Sigma X, Sigma Y.
Sigma X and Sigma Y, correct. Sigma X is equal to Sigma Y is equal to normal stress, which is equal to principal stress. नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस बघा, हा सिग्मा वाय सिग्मा एक्स कुठल्या प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे? प्लेन ए बी. त्या प्लेन ए बी ला आपण काय म्हणले? प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन म्हणले. तसंच दुसरा सिग्मा एक्स कुठे ऍक्ट झालाय? प्लेन सीडी वर. प्लेन सीडी ला आपण काय म्हणले? प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन म्हणले. तसंच हॉरिझॉन्टल प्लेन बीसी आणि एडी वर कुठला स्ट्रेस ऍक्ट झालेला आहे? तर सिग्मा वाय ऍक्ट झालाय. सिग्मा एक्स हा व्हर्टिकल प्रिन्सिपल प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे. सिग्मा वाय it is applied on the horizontal principal plane. Therefore, in addition to the normal stresses, that sigma x and sigma y are also called as a principal stresses. Why? Because sigma x and sigma y are applied on principal plane. मग हे सिग्मा x आणि सिग्मा y हे प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन वर जर ऍक्ट झाले असतील तर त्याच स्ट्रेसेसला आपण काय म्हणतो? प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस म्हणतो. ओरिजिनल नाव काय सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय ला? नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसेस. नो प्रॉब्लेम. बट दिस नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस सिग्मा एक्स अँड नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस सिग्मा वाय, इट इज अप्लाइड ऑन दी प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन्स. किती प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन आहे टोटल? 4. ए बी, बी सी, सी डी अँड ए डी. आउट ऑफ दॅट sigma x is applied on AB and CD, which is called as a principal plane. Therefore, sigma x is called as a principal stress. Similarly, sigma y is applied on horizontal plane AD and BC, and this AD and BC are called as a principal plane. Therefore, sigma y is also called as a principal stresses. That means sigma x is equal to sigma y is equal to normal stress, and that same stresses are called as a principal stresses. And this sigma x and sigma y plays very important role during the calculation of stresses on inclined plane. मग ह्या inclined plane वरचा जर मला सिग्मा n फाइंड आउट करायचा असेल, तसंच ह्या inclined plane वरचा जर मला सिग्मा टी जर फाइंड आउट करायचा असेल, तर ड्युरिंग सिग्मा n कॅल्क्युलेशन अँड ड्युरिंग द सिग्मा टी कॅल्क्युलेशन, दिस सिग्मा एक्स अँड सिग्मा वाय प्लेज इम्पॉर्टंट रोल. जर हा सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय जर तुम्हाला दिला नसेल तर तुम्ही हा सिग्मा एन आणि हा सिग्मा टी पण काढू शकत नाही. Therefore, due to the or during the calculation of sigma n and sigma t, your sigma x and sigma y plays very important role, which is applied on the principal planes. Therefore, that sigma x and sigma y, it is also called as a principal stresses, and it is also called as a normal stresses. So what is the definition of principal stresses? The normal stress acting on principal plane. नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस जर हा प्रिन्सिपल प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला असेल तर त्याच नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसला आपण काय म्हणू शकतो? प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस म्हणू शकतो. सो दिस इज द सेकंड डेफिनेशन. देन थर्ड वन, मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस. मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस फ्रॉम द फिगर. Out of sigma x and sigma y, which will be the major and which will be the minor? या सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय पैकी एक कुठला तर स्ट्रेस हा मॅक्सिमम असणार आहे, एक कुठला तर स्ट्रेस काय असणार आहे? मिनिमम असणार आहे. जर तो मोठा असेल तर त्याला मेजर म्हणायचं, जर तो लहान असेल तर त्याला मायनर म्हणायचं. बट व्हॉट इज द डेफिनेशन? सो सिंपल डेफिनेशन, लेट अस सी. द मॅक्सिमम मॅग्निट्यूड ऑफ नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस ऍक्टिंग ऑन प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन. The maximum magnitude of normal stress acting on principal plane, that stress is called as a major principal stress. For example, sigma x is equal to 100 Newton per mm square. Similarly, at the right side, 100 Newton per mm square. Sigma y, 60 Newton per mm square. Similarly, at the bottom side, 60 Newton per mm square. We have to define the definition of major principal stress and minor principal stress. First, major principal stress. Listen the definition carefully. The maximum magnitude of normal stress acting on principal plane. Maximum magnitude of normal stress. दोन नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसेस आहेत, एक सिग्मा एक्स, एक सिग्मा वाय. व्हॅल्यू ऑफ सिग्मा एक्स इज 100 न्यूटन पर mm square. Value of sigma y is 60 Newton per mm square. Then tell me, which is the major principal stress, sigma x or sigma y? Sigma x is the major principal stress because we are having the definition, the maximum magnitude of normal stress. दोन्ही नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस मधली ज्या नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसची मॅग्निट्यूड मॅक्सिमम आहे आणि तो जर एखाद्या प्रिन्सिपल प्लेनवर ऍक्ट होत असेल तर त्याच स्ट्रेसला आपण प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस तर म्हणतोयच, पण त्याची मॅग्निट्यूड मॅक्सिमम असल्यामुळं त्याला आपण काय म्हणतोय, मॅक्सिमम प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस. देअरफॉर सिग्मा एक्स इज कॉल्ड ॲज ए मॅक्सिमम प्रिन्सिपल stress. Similarly, at the left side, same magnitude is there. Therefore, maximum principal stress. Okay, this is the maximum. Then minor definition, the minimum magnitude of normal stress acting on principal plane. Minimum magnitude of normal stress. दोन normal stresses पैकी एका normal stress ची व्हॅल्यू काय मिनिमम आहे आणि तो मिनिमम नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस जर एखाद्या प्लेनवर ऍक्ट होत असेल तर त्याला आपण प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस तर म्हणतोयच, पण त्याची मॅग्निट्यूड मिनिमम असल्यामुळं त्याला आपण काय म्हणतोय तर मायनर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस. देन व्हिच इज द मायनर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस, सिग्मा एक्स और सिग्मा वाय?
सिग्मा वाय.
Sigma y. Why? Because sigma x value is 100 Newton per mm square and sigma y value is 60 Newton per mm square, which is less than sigma. Therefore, sigma y is also called as a minor principal stress. At the top side, I have written minor. Similarly, at the bottom side, minor principal stress. बघा, सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय ला आपण प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेसेस पण म्हणतोय का, तर ते प्रिन्सिपल प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेले आहेत. पण त्याच सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय ला आपण परत डिवाइड केलं, एकाला मेजर म्हणलं, एकाला मायनर म्हणलं. वाय? बिकॉज सिग्मा एक्स व्हॅल्यू इज ग्रेटर दॅन सिग्मा वाय. देअरफॉर सिग्मा एक्स बिकम्स मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस, सिग्मा वाय बिकम्स minor principal stress. So these are the two definitions related to the major principal stresses and minor principal stress. Then fifth definition and sixth, major principal plane and minor principal plane. Tell me the definition. Major principal plane. Figure वरून सांगा, major principal plane. From this particular figure, which are the major principal plane? Out of 4 planes, which are the major principal plane? AB, BC, CD and AD. Total 4 planes are there. Out of the 4 planes, which are the major principal plane?
AB and CD.
AB and
CD.
AB and CD. AB and CD or DC. Why? Because AB and CD carries major principal stress. बघा, एकावर एक डेफिनेशन डिपेंड आहे. The plane AB and CD carries major principal stress. म्हणजे ह्या AB वर आणि CD वर मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस ऍक्ट झालेला आहे. किती न्यूटन एम एम स्क्वेअरचा? 100 न्यूटन पर एम एम स्क्वेअरचा मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस हा AB वर आणि CD वर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे. त्यामुळं सी AB इज कॉल्ड ॲज ए मेजर प्रिन्सिपल plane because the plane which carries major principal stress असा प्लेन की जो मॅक्सिमम प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस काय करतोय, कॅरी करतोय. मग टोटल 4 प्लेन पैकी 2 प्लेनवर किती न्यूटन पर एम एम स्क्वेअर आहे? 100 न्यूटन पर एम एम स्क्वेअर. इट इज मॅक्सिमम दॅन 60 न्यूटन पर एम स्क्वेअर. त्यामुळे त्याच प्लेनला आपण काय म्हणतोय, मेजर प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन. देअरफॉर AB and CD आर कॉल्ड एज ए मेजर प्रिन्सिपल plane. Then tell me which are the minor principal planes? Which are the minor principal planes? Horizontal plane, that is AD and BC, because the plane which carries minor principal stress. The plane which carries minor principal stress. मग टोटल 4 प्लेन पैकी 2 प्लेनवर मायनर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस ऍक्ट होतोय. म्हणजे मायनर म्हणजे कमी प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस ऍक्ट होतोय. तर तो म्हणजे कुठला प्लेन आहे? एक म्हणजे हॉरिझॉन्टल प्लेन AD आणि दुसरा म्हणजे हॉरिझॉन्टल प्लेन BC. ह्या AD वर आणि BC वर किती न्यूटन पर एम स्क्वेअरचा स्ट्रेस ऍक्ट झालेला आहे? 60 न्यूटन पर एम स्क्वेअर, विच इज लेस दॅन 100. त्यामुळं ह्याच प्लेनला AD अँड BC ला प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन तर म्हणतोयच, पण त्याच्यावर मायनर स्ट्रेस ऍक्ट झालाय, त्यामुळे त्याला मायनर प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन असं पण आपण त्याला काय करू शकतो, म्हणू शकतो. देअरफॉर दिस इज मायनर प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन. सिमिलरली बॉटम साइड मायनर प्रिन्सिपल. So these are the two definitions, major principal plane and minor principal plane. Once again see, what is the definition of principal plane? The plane which carries only normal stresses. ज्या प्लेन वर फक्त नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस ऍक्ट झालेला आहे त्या प्लेनला आपण काय म्हणतो? नॉर्मल प्लेन म्हणतो, सॉरी प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन्स म्हणतो. सेकंड डेफिनेशन आपण काय डिस्कस केली? प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेसेस. द नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसेस ऍक्टिंग ऑन द प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन. एखाद्या प्रिन्सिपल प्लेनवर जो नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस ऍक्ट झाला असेल तर त्या नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसला आपण प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस पण असं म्हणू शकतो. मग ह्या फिगर मध्ये AB, BC, CD, AD हे 4 प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन झाले. सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय हे नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसेस पण झाले आणि प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेसेस पण झाले. परत त्याच्यामध्ये 2 प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेसेस, एक मेजर एक मायनर. ज्याची मॅग्निट्यूड मॅक्सिमम आहे तो झाला मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस, ज्याची मॅग्निट्यूड मिनिमम आहे तो झाला मायनर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस. जो मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस ज्या प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे त्या प्लेनला मेजर प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन आणि मायनर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस ज्या प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेला आहे तर तो कुठला झाला? मायनर प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन. मग ह्या फिगर मध्ये फॉर दिस पर्टिक्युलर फिगर सिग्मा एक्स इज द मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस, सिग्मा वाय इज द मायनर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस. 2 वर्टिकल प्लेन्स AB and CD are major principal plane and horizontal plane AD and BC are called as a minor principal plane. So these are the 4 important definitions: major principal stress, minor principal stress, major principal plane, minor principal plane. Okay, then 7th definition is called as a resultant stress. So what is meant by the resultant stress? So for that resultant stress I will draw one figure. Let us see. This is the inclined plane. Okay, on this particular inclined plane this is normal stress, this is tangential stress. Normal stress is perpendicular to the inclined plane. Let us see. This is inclined plane. Sigma n is perpendicular to inclined plane. Sigma t is parallel to the inclined plane. आणि ह्या दोन्हीच्या मध्ये जो स्ट्रेस असतो त्याला म्हणतो रिझल्टंट स्ट्रेस. सो डेफिनेशन ऑफ द रिझल्टंट स्ट्रेस: द रिझल्टंट ऑफ नॉर्मल अँड tangential stress is called as a resultant stress. So we are having the formula sigma r is equal to square root of sigma n square plus sigma t square. So if I have to calculate sigma n, during sigma n calculation sigma x and sigma y plays very important role. Similarly during sigma t calculation again sigma x and sigma y plays very important role. But during resultant stress calculation, I required only sigma n and sigma t. Here sigma x and sigma y are not required. Sigma x and sigma value is important during sigma n calculation and during sigma t calculation only. But if I have to calculate the resultant stress during resultant stress, I am having sigma n and sigma t only. Therefore, resultant of normal stress and tangential stress is called as a resultant stress. जर तुम्हाला सिग्मा एक्स अँड सिग्मा वाय इज नॉट नोन, सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय दिलाच नसेल तर तुम्ही सिग्मा एन पण काढू शकत नाही, सिग्मा टी पण काढू शकत नाही. जर सिग्मा एन आणि सिग्मा टी जर तुम्ही काढला नसेल तर तुम्ही सिग्मा आर पण काढू शकत नाही. Therefore, during sigma n calculation, sigma t calculation and resultant stress calculation, your sigma x and sigma y, it plays very important role. म्हणूनच त्याला आपण काय म्हणतोय, प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस म्हणतो, कारण तो महत्वाचा रोल प्ले करतो. गेटिंग? सो व्हॉट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ रिझल्टंट स्ट्रेस? द रिझल्टंट ऑफ नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस अँड टेंजेन्शियल स्ट्रेस is called as a resultant stress, and their formula here I have written. You can check their sigma r formula. It is available in the form of sigma n and sigma t. ह्या फॉर्म्युल्यामध्ये सिग्मा एक्स आणि सिग्मा वाय कुठंच लिहिलेला नाही. It is available in the form of square root of sigma n square plus sigma t square. Therefore, their definition is also made like that. Resultant of normal and tangential stress is called as a resultant stress. So this is the definition of the resultant stress. And then last definition is called as a angle of obliquity. Angle of obliquity. So for that, again I will draw one figure, angle of obliquity. So here one triangle I will draw. Okay, so this is inclined, this is resultant stress, this is sigma t, this is sigma n, and angle between sigma r and sigma n is called as a angle of obliquity, which is indicated by phi. Angle of obliquity, which is indicated by phi. The angle made by resultant stress with normal stress. बघा, ह्या रिझल्टंट स्ट्रेसनं जर नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस जर एखादा अँगल केलेला असेल तर त्या अँगलला आपण काय म्हणतो, अँगल ऑफ ऑब्लिक्विटी. और अनदर डेफिनेशन, अँगल बिटवीन रिझल्टंट स्ट्रेस अँड नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस is called as a angle of obliquity. And if I have to calculate it, I am having formula tan phi is equal to, what is the formula for the tan phi? What is the tan rule? What is the tan rule?
Sin phi upon cos phi.
Yes,
Sin phi upon cos.
tan rule. Front side upon hypotenuse or adjacent
Sigma
side
t
upon
upon sigma
hypotenuse.
r. Sigma r.
Yes,
Front side upon
Front side upon
hypotenuse.
hypotenuse,
adjacent side.
Adjacent side.
adjacent side. So front side upon adjacent side. Now from this particular figure, please tell me what is the front side? Sigma t is front side or sigma n is front side?
Sigma t.
Sigma t.
Sigma t. Therefore,
Sigma t.
sigma t upon sigma n is called as a tan phi. मग सिग्मा टी तुम्ही वर काढलेला असणार आहे, सिग्मा एन तुम्ही वरच्या इक्वेशन मध्ये काढलेला असणार आहे. दोन्हीचा रेशो घेतला आणि त्याचा tan इनवर्स घेतला की यू विल गेट द phi angle. Therefore, this angle of obliquity is having the two definition. Angle made by resultant stress with normal stress. म्हणजे रिझल्टंट स्ट्रेस न जर नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसची जर अँगल केला असेल तर त्या अँगलला आपण काय म्हणतो, अँगल ऑफ ऑब्लिक्विटी म्हणतो, किंवा अँगल बिटवीन रिझल्टंट स्ट्रेस अँड नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस, त्या दोन्ही मधला अँगलला आपण काय म्हणतो, अँगल ऑफ ऑब्लिक्विटी म्हणतो. सो दीज आर द 8 important definitions which we have to understood, and by using that particular definitions only we have to solve the numericals. Okay, so I think my screen is not visible, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So maybe due to power off. So my computer is switched off. So I'm discussing only by using this particular mobile. But we have covered all the important definitions. So which definitions we have covered? Principal plane. Why it is called as a principal plane? Because the plane which carries normal stress. ज्या प्लेनवर फक्त नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस आहे त्याच प्लेनला आपण काय म्हणतोय? प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन म्हणतोय. सेकंड डेफिनेशन प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस, द प्लेन विच कॅरीज नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस. जो प्लेन नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस कॅरी करतोय त्याच नॉर्मल स्ट्रेसला आपण काय म्हणतोय? प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस म्हणतोय. अगेन प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेसेस आर डिवायडेड इंटू टू टाइप्स, मेजर अँड मायनर. विच इज द मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस? द मॅक्सिमम मॅग्निट्यूड ऑफ नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस. दोन नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस पैकी जे जी मॅग्निट्यूड जास्त आहे त्याला आपण काय म्हणतो? मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस. आउट ऑफ द फोर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेसेस, the stress which is having the less magnitude, it is called as a minor principal stress. Similarly, principal planes are also again divided into the two types, major principal plane, minor principal plane. Major principal plane कुठला झाला? The plane which carries maximum principal stress. मॅक्सिमम प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेसची व्हॅल्यू ज्या प्लेनवर ऍक्ट झालेली आहे त्या प्लेनला आपण काय म्हणतो? मेजर प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन. आणि ज्या प्लेनवर मायनर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस म्हणजे कमी मॅग्निट्यूडचा स्ट्रेस ऍक्ट झालेला आहे त्या प्लेनला आपण काय म्हणतो? मायनर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस. मग वर्टिकल प्लेन्स आर कॉल्ड एज ए मेजर प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन, हॉरिझॉन्टल प्लेन्स आर कॉल्ड एज ए मायनर प्रिन्सिपल प्लेन. अँड अगेन द टू इम्पॉर्टंट डेफिनेशन्स, that is resultant stress. What is meant by resultant? The resultant of normal and tangential stress is called as a resultant stress. Means from that particular formula, if I have to calculate the resultant stress, it is necessary to find out the sigma n and sigma t. If sigma n and sigma t is not calculated, then it is not possible to calculate the sigma r also. Therefore, the definition is also made like that. The resultant of normal and tangential stress is called as a resultant stress. Therefore, sigma r is equal to square root of sigma n square plus sigma t square. And last definition we have discussed, which is called as a angle of obliquity, which is indicated by phi. There are having the two definitions. First definition, the angle made by resultant stress with normal stress. म्हणजे resultant stress न normal stress शी केलेल्या अँगलला आपण काय म्हणतो? अँगल ऑफ obliquity म्हणतो. This is the definition number 1. Second definition, angle between resultant stress and normal stress. That angle is also called as a angle of obliquity. And there we are using the tan phi rule. Tan phi is equal to front side upon adjacent side. Therefore, tan phi is equal to sigma t upon sigma n. Sigma t already we have calculated. Sigma n already we have calculated. Take their ratio, take the tan inverse. You will get the phi angle between resultant stress and the normal stress. So these are very important definitions. And always, whenever we are solving the numericals based on this particular chapter, maybe analytical, maybe graphical, please consider that sigma x, which is represented in the horizontal direction, it is always maximum. In each and every numerical, sigma x is always maximum and sigma y is always minimum. 95% problems are there in which sigma x is always maximum than sigma y. Sigma x ची व्हॅल्यू sigma y पेक्षा काय असणार आहे? जास्त असणार आहे. and 95% problems are like that only. त्यामुळं सिग्मा एक्स ला कायम आपण काय म्हणायचं? मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस म्हणायचं आणि सिग्मा वाय ला कायम आपण काय म्हणायचं? मायनर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस म्हणायचं. ओनली 5% प्रॉब्लेम्स आर देअर इन विच सिग्मा वाय इज ग्रेटर दॅन सिग्मा एक्स. अदरवाइज 95% प्रॉब्लेम असे आहेत की ज्याच्यामध्ये सिग्मा एक्सच सिग्मा वाय पेक्षा काय असणार आहे? मोठा असणार आहे. देअरफॉर सिग्मा एक्स मेजर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस, सिग्मा वाय मायनर प्रिन्सिपल स्ट्रेस. Okay. So with this, today we will stop here. In the next lecture, we will start with the numericals by using these particular definitions and the important formulas. But before that, whatever we have discussed today related to the introduction to the principal stresses, why sigma x and sigma y are called as the principal stresses, how it plays very important role during the sigma n and sigma t calculation, and whatever the 8 definitions we have discussed. Have you understood all the basic concepts, all the important definitions? Yes. Have you understood all the things, whatever we have discussed today? Yes, everyone. So what are the definitions? I have explained. All the definitions are there along with figure. All the definitions are there in the scanned notes. So whenever I am finishing this particular chapter, I will send that particular scanned notes. You can refer that particular notes again for understanding the all the definitions. So very simple definitions are there. Each and every definition is depends on each one another. If you define first definition, based on first definition, you are having the second definition. Then from the second, you are having the third definition. And whatever the figure I have drawn, one rectangle is there, sigma x, sigma y, a, b, c, d. That figure is very important in order to understand all the important definitions. So I hope everyone has understood all those particular definitions. So if you have not understood, you can ask me once again. Again, I will explain that particular definition. So with this, today we will stop here. In the next lecture, we will take the remaining part. Okay, now after this particular lecture, there is a 1 hour MCQ test is there. MCQ test number 5, based on the bending stresses in the beam and based on the shear stresses in the beams. Okay, so I will send the link. Okay, so link for the MCQ test I have sent on your WhatsApp group. So by the attendance of this particular MCQ test, I will mark the attendance of the both the lectures. So I request all the students, so start solving your attendance based on your start solving your MCQ test. Based on that particular test, I will mark the attendance for this lecture as well as second lecture. So I request now all the students, you can leave the meeting immediately and start your test. Attendance I will take based on the attempt of that particular MCQ test. So you can leave the meeting now and start your test immediately.